Dylan Harper's rookie season just created a problem the San Antonio Spurs cannot ignore. He came off the bench in every game of the NBA Finals, yet averaged 18 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 3 assists against the New York Knicks. He was San Antonio's second leading scorer in the series and finished the season with back-to-back games of 21 and 25 points. That is not normal production from a 20-year-old reserve. Harper did not simply survive his first postseason. The better the competition became, the more responsibility he seemed ready to handle. Now the Spurs have to decide what comes next, and the answer may have very little to do with whether he starts. During the regular season, Harper averaged 11.8 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.9 assists while shooting 50.5% from the field. He played 69 games, started only 4, and averaged 22.6 minutes because San Antonio already had De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle handling major parts of the offense. Even in that limited role, Harper scored in double figures 43 times and appeared on every all-rookie ballot, receiving 93 first-team votes. His numbers were solid, but they never told the whole story. Harper was learning how to produce without controlling the game, and for a player used to having the ball, that adjustment was not always easy. Devin Vassell later called Harper a star in the making and revealed that the rookie had sometimes been frustrated by his minutes and changing responsibilities. Harper never turned that into a public complaint. He acknowledged the normal emotional swings that come with competition and said he tried to use them as motivation. More importantly, his response was visible on the court. Instead of forcing the organization to change his role, he kept giving the coaching staff more reasons to trust him. By the time the playoffs arrived, the question was no longer whether Harper could help San Antonio. It was how much responsibility the Spurs could afford to give him. That answer started changing in Portland. In Game 3 of the first round, with Wembanyama unavailable, Harper scored 27 points and produced 22 of them after halftime. He attacked the paint, made 4 of 5 threes, and helped erase a 15-point deficit. At 20 years old, he became the second youngest player in more than 4 decades to score at least 20 points off the bench in a playoff game, behind only Kobe Bryant. What mattered most was how he responded to the opportunity. San Antonio lost its franchise player for an important road game, and Harper did not shrink. He saw the missing responsibility and took it. Then the competition got harder, and Harper did it again. In Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, he finished with 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 7 steals. Since steals became an official statistic, only one other rookie had ever posted at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals in a playoff game: Magic Johnson. Harper's 7 steals also set a Spurs postseason record. That performance was more than a great rookie night. It showed that his physicality, rebounding, and defensive instincts could survive when the games became more demanding. And by that point, his production was starting to look less like a hot stretch and more like a pattern. The finals turned that pattern into a real coaching decision. Harper's minutes jumped from 22.6 per game in the regular season to roughly 31 against New York. His scoring climbed to 18 points per game, his rebounding nearly doubled, and he shot 49.3% from the field. He did all of that while making only 28% of his threes, so this was not a rookie riding unsustainable shooting. Harper created points by getting downhill, running in transition, moving without the ball, and attacking the glass. New York knew where he wanted to go. The problem was that keeping him out of the paint was becoming increasingly difficult. If you think Harper has already earned a starting spot, comment "start." If you think his best role is controlling the second unit and finishing games with the starters, comment "closer," because that distinction matters more than it sounds. San Antonio does not have a shortage of talented guards. The real question is how to give Harper the responsibility he has earned without damaging the balance of a team that just reached the finals. You could see that tension developing during the series. Harper scored 16 points with 8 rebounds in Game 1 and had 12 before halftime, but played only 4 minutes in the fourth quarter as New York completed its comeback. Harper backed Mitch Johnson publicly afterward and said he trusted the coaching staff. By Game 4, his role had already grown. He played 32 minutes and scored 21. Then, with San Antonio facing elimination in Game 5, Harper led the Spurs with 25 points, while Wembanyama finished with 19. He became only the fourth rookie in NBA history to score at least 20 points in consecutive finals games. That progression matters because Harper was not simply beating weaker second units. Portland gave him his first major opportunity. Oklahoma City tested him against championship-level pressure. New York forced him to produce on the biggest stage of his career. Each round asked for more, and Harper kept earning a larger share of the game. He created offense, rebounded above his position, and showed real defensive upside. By the end of the finals, calling him an ordinary bench player no longer made sense. The question had changed. San Antonio now had to figure out how to increase his role without creating a new problem somewhere else. There is a useful lesson in Harper's own family. Ron Harper entered the NBA as a high-level scorer, but later reinvented himself into a defender, secondary ball handler, and connector on championship teams in Chicago and Los Angeles. He learned that a smaller offensive role does not necessarily mean a smaller impact. That matters for Dylan because San Antonio does not need him to prove his value by taking the most shots or hearing his name during the starting introductions. What matters is whether he is on the floor when the game is decided, and whether his skill set makes those closing lineups better. The Spurs already have Fox and Castle as primary creators. Vassell gives them perimeter scoring, and the roster has enough veteran depth that every extra minute has a cost somewhere else. Starting Harper would give him more opportunities, but it could also create a spacing problem. Fox, Castle, and Harper all do their best work attacking downhill. Put all three together, and San Antonio can overwhelm teams at the rim. But if defenses do not respect the outside shot, they can shrink the floor, send earlier help, and make every drive more difficult. That is why simply saying start Harper does not solve the puzzle. Keeping him on the bench has obvious benefits. Harper can control more possessions while Fox or Castle rests. He can attack second units, push the pace, and keep a creator on the floor without asking three ball-dominant guards to share every possession. The danger is going too far in the other direction. If Harper spends another season limited to 22 minutes and long stretches without the ball, San Antonio risks slowing the development of one of its most promising players. The Spurs need the balance of a sixth-man role without treating him like a normal reserve. And that is why the starter versus bench question is incomplete. Playoff games are not decided by the 5 names announced before tip-off. They are decided by the 5 players a coach trusts with 6 minutes left and the score tied. Harper's size, rim pressure, and rebounding give San Antonio another way to create offense when Fox or Castle is contained. His defensive instincts give the Spurs another physical guard who can apply pressure while Wembanyama protects the space behind him. Harper does not need the label of starter to become one of the 5 most important players on the team. That role could also make Wembanyama harder to defend. When Harper turns the corner, defenders have to collapse toward the paint. If the opposing big steps forward, Victor has space behind the defense or around the perimeter. If that big stays attached to Wembanyama, Harper has the strength to finish through smaller defenders. His rebounding also helps San Antonio run before the defense gets organized. Developing Harper is not separate from building around Wembanyama. If the fit is handled correctly, each player can make the other more dangerous. There is one clear obstacle: Harper's jumper. He made 34.3% of his threes during the regular season and only 28% in the finals. That does not make him unplayable, but playoff teams will use those numbers against San Antonio. If Harper's defender can stand several feet away and clog the paint, the Fox-Castle-Harper combination becomes much harder to use. He does not need to turn into an elite shooter. He needs to punish open space, relocate when another guard gets into the lane, and make the next decision quickly when the ball reaches him. If that shot becomes reliable, everything gets easier. Harper already finishes well for his age. His rebounding held up against veteran teams. His 7-steal game showed legitimate defensive potential. Add a dependable catch-and-shoot 3, and San Antonio can use him with Fox and Castle without giving the defense an obvious place to help from. At that point, Mitch Johnson would not need to search for ways to manufacture Harper's minutes. The most important lineup combinations would naturally require him. Harper also seems to understand what the finals changed. He has talked about how difficult it is to reach that stage and lose, and about carrying that experience forward instead of pretending it disappears. That matters because San Antonio is no longer developing in a vacuum. This is a team coming off an NBA Finals appearance. Wembanyama is committed long-term, the young core remains together, and the Spurs added veteran help without tearing apart what already worked. Harper is not competing for minutes on a rebuilding roster. He is trying to earn a bigger role on a contender. That is why San Antonio should not overreact to one postseason, but it also cannot pretend nothing changed. Harper proved he could handle more responsibility against Portland, Oklahoma City, and New York. His willingness to accept different roles is a strength, not a reason to keep his role permanently small. The Spurs need to give him enough minutes and enough possessions to discover whether the finals showed his current level or only the beginning of what he can become. The answer does not have to be complicated. Harper should open next season as San Antonio's first guard off the bench, play around 30 minutes a night, and finish most competitive games. That gives him possessions while Fox or Castle rests, keeps the starting lineup balanced, and still puts him on the floor when the game actually matters. If his shooting improves and the three-guard combinations work, the starting job can come later. There is no reason to force that decision before the basketball demands it. Dylan Harper did not complain his way into a larger role. He performed his way into one. And that is why San Antonio should stop thinking of him as a bench player who might eventually start. He should be treated as a closer who happens to come off the bench.